Okay, so I wanted to do this. It's like a quick thing. And it's basically file management, file storage management. It all goes like depending on the phone that you have. In this. So usually the actual charger that you typically plug into a box, like this thing, obviously it comes, this is what's ironic about a lot of this stuff, is that you can easily take it from the box and you just plug it directly into the computer. So I have a USB-C. This is for my, I don't know what I have, a 12 or something old, because I bought a used new because I'm cheap like that. But you basically plug this B-roll, and then I don't know if you heard that, but it goes doot doot doot. So you can tell like when a new thing is plugged into your computer. So what you do, especially if you're on an iPhone, I just typically keep it in the low power mode. So you want to turn that off, because basically once the screen goes to sleep, you sort of lose the connection. It makes it seem like you just turned off the phone. So do you want to trust this computer? Let's see, I don't know if you heard this, but it goes doo-doo-doo. So that just means it like disconnected. I said trust. Now I've done this a ton of times. So the fact that this actually keeps doing this is very frustrating. But let's see. It's the Apple iPhone. Oh, so this is, I think I actually installed OneDrive. So I installed something. What I like doing, you go here, because I don't think this works with screen capture. So what you do is you go to like this PC. So this is a PC. So I'm connecting a Mac or an Apple to a PC. So you connect, you notice that I have C, D, G, H, and I. So C and D are the two hard drives that are actually on the laptop. GH are basically any set of external drive. Now I think it's key, very important, you're gonna first transfer them directly to your laptop, and then you're gonna wanna save them onto something. Now this is a 4 gig, or 4 gig is nothing, 4 terabyte hard drive. This is 16 terabyte. I literally buy a 16 terabyte twice a year. So I think, obviously, using the 16 terabyte makes sense. But, so you notice the first thing was that you have internal storage, it shows you how full it was, and then DCIM. But unfortunately, when you plug, this is what I think was one of the difference between Android and Apple, is because I liked when I had my Droid and you plug it in and it actually just read everything like it was sort of an external hard drive. So like you have WhatsApp folder, you have Instagram, you have Twitter, you have Facebook, and so all the stuff that you post on these separate platforms, they show up in a separate subfolder. So it's easy to just take all your Instagram posts, copy those, and then you free up the space on your phone. On iPhone now, you see you have DCIM. So this is on a Droid and Apple. What you're looking for is DCIM. I don't know exactly what it means. You see once you click on it. So on Apple, the way they do it is they just, like, again, this is very not friendly. It's like, it's meant to be in their system. Like, it's meant to just stay. So one of the things that I do, basically, you know, once you figure this out, it's 2009-04, so that's so 2023-08, 2023-07. So basically what they do is it's one big month and then it's all broken down. So what I do is I know I have a vlog hard drive, the stuff where I do like my GoPros and basically this. Like, I have a hard drive that I keep all that stuff. So I have my work stuff. It's like Ball Brain and Creative Family Memories. And then this other, so they're separate drives. I used to keep them on the same one, and then it was like, it gets too full. And I usually have more like vlog stuff, and I'm not trying to use the vlog stuff for my business stuff. It's like intended to be two separate things. So what I do is you'll see that this is just file management and file storage, and you find what makes the most sense to you. Personally, because I've done this for so long, I know I was doing it like in 2018 regularly. So then it was like 2018, and then I would do August, September, October, and then in August I would shoot so much with the vlog camera that I would do. This is where it's different. Like, I started off and I would do like, this is like your file management that you want to mess with. So I would do it like daily for these daily August 1st, August 2nd, August 3rd. But then you sort of break that down into like weeklies, or, you know, like you'll know what makes the most sense. But it's like, and then even before, I didn't used to do this, and now I realize that there's like day to day, and then there's like when you go somewhere. So like, even looking on this, I don't know if there's any risk in showing this stuff, but like I have Jan, Feb, but then I have like when I went places. What you're trying to do is keep it at ease for the next time you go back to it. Like, that's what you're working towards, and that's what you like. Because obviously if you just take photos, then eventually your thing gets full, your whatever gets full. So if you notice here, I basically just do, it's an iPhone map. So it's basically like mimicking exactly what is showing on the iPhone folders. And so the reason I do this, so this is a thing that you get. Do you want to copy, replace? I typically don't copy, because it'll just copy, and then it'll do the number, and then it does like a duplicate of the number. So it's like, you can do it like if you're really, if you know that there was a special month or a special time and you want to do like extra backups of what you're doing or looking at, like do that. But basically this is like it's a boring process. And so it's like the more you do it, the less you have to do it, like in a big fell swoop. Like once, I try not to just remove everything from my phone, because a lot of times I want to post those things, and so I don't want to go like too long without posting, right? So it's like I want to, because then like once it goes from phone to computer, then it's like I consider it safe, but it's also like I typically don't review it, take stuff from the computer back to the phone to then post. So that's why like I wait to the last possible minute of being full, then I take everything off, and then then usually when I go on trips, I'll like make sure I back everything up and then delete stuff from my phone, because then I know I'm going to be taking extra videos and photos with the phone. So like, you just want more space, because the last thing you want to do is be on the Golden Gate Bridge trying to take a nice photo, and then all of a sudden you're running out of storage, and it's like, oh shoot, what do I do? It says 6.5 minutes. This is where I've had some issues before, and I don't know, definitely like with all electronics, you want to make sure you literally just restarted, not pulled your computer up and got it up from sleep. You want to restart your computer so it's fresh, plug in, and then copy. And for a while I was waiting and I wouldn't do that, and then it says 8 minutes going, and then all of a sudden it just stops. And then, so like, you don't know where you, you can look to where you left off, but like, I have IMG 1198, like a lot of times it'll take the first image and the last image, and it'll sort of do like a weird, like it meets in the middle, so it's not like you just know that you finished. Like if this were the whole thing, you have image 1198 to 1250, and this is 1400. Like if it stops at 1250 and you know you have till 1400, then you know you have like another 150 to go. But like it'll normally do 1198, 1400, you know, like, so it'll do that mix. So that's why you end up, and it just happened. So like, so then what I do is I go back, Control C, paste, and it says, do you want to copy? Don't copy. And then it starts it again. So this is where I could be taking my own advice, whereas like, I know I actually used this for the last day, and now it's not even copying. So it's like, all right, so now that's the answer. So 50. And that was also sometimes, because now it actually, it looks like we have till 17, see, it says 1793, but then it also goes to 1944. So then it's like you sort of have a 200 photo lapse of like, you have this see, so it's not even doing it anymore. Yeah, so I do this. So then I'm gonna try this because I know if I restart, this video's over. I'm just gonna be done and move on with my life for the day. Sometimes, so then what you notice, I just mimic this exactly. So there's like, if you look at, there's 2023-7 underscore 2023-07A B. It depends how many photos you take, but I just do it exactly. See, and this is the weird thing. So like 1795 to 19 something is in the A column, as in 2023-07A, whereas 2023-07 underscore, like, so this is where some of the leftover files are. So maybe it did copy everything and it's just like, so then this is where you get into the minutia. You're like, okay, which ones are there? And that's why after a restart, I will end up just plugging this in again, try and copy the whole folder, put it back, and if it works, then I know it's copied. And if it's not copied, or if it doesn't work, then I know, like, okay, maybe I need to just do this again. So it's like how redundant, because eventually you're going to delete stuff from your phone. And so it's like, if you're confident that you have everything saved, then you can delete with ease. There's nothing worse than like, are you sure you want to delete 500 photos and they're not there? You do that, and then it's just, so that's why like redundancy is like your thing. So again, what I do is just like mirror image what's on the iPhone, same folders. So it's like 20, so this is 2023-07 underscore B, because it's adding more. And this is where you have image 1529, 1813, 1193. Like, it's got all these, like, nothing is, it's not as 1 to 1200. It's not as like sequentially in order as you would assume or as you would hope. So like, that's where you got to keep like copying and pasting everything. So shortcuts, Control A selects everything in a folder, Control C copies it, Control V pastes it. Or when you're using Windows, you can right click on all these things. You can use the top. They're all They should be at the top of your folders. But if you could right click and then you'll find those options. So you select all, copy, paste, drop it into your folder. You could probably just do a 2023-07, that underscore, put all the A and B folders in there, and then you're good. Now, if you pay for the reason, so this was inspired, this is kind of like what happens with everybody, like you get a new phone and then all of a sudden like everything that was on that previous phone, like it's good until that previous phone stops working. Then whatever you have on that phone, like you can't always just plug in that old phone to your computer and pull the photos off. So that's where it's like scary. So I know that a lot of companies make a lot of money on cloud storage, which is basically storing files on somebody's computer that you're paying a monthly subscription to, which for backup, and I'm sure like I can see there's a value to it, like having something on cloud. And I'm just gonna put this into the air and scare myself, but like we get tornado warnings now, and I keep a lot of my hard drives upstairs, so now I know I need to keep them downstairs, because if anything, God forbid, happens to the house, like all my stuff is gone, like if it wasn't on a cloud storage, or if there's a house fire or something, like all your stuff is gone. So that's why photo managers, it's like 3 different spots, 2 different locations, or 3 different locations, 2 different spots. So it's like you want them on site, but then you want extra storage like off site. So like at a friend's house or at your business center or whatever it would be. It's like backed up 3 different ways, twice. I don't remember what it is. But like, so even if you get like, so it's like you back up, you have 16 terabytes of family photos on one hard drive. So then you're going to buy another hard drive, do the exact same thing onto that other hard drive, take that hard drive, put it in a fireproof shelter, or safe, fireproof safe. And the thing where cloud compared to, you're like, okay, I have 571 selected. So then it's like you copy paste. So that's like one way to easily see if you have the exact number that was in the main folder transferred to the new folder, because when you select all in the bottom left, you'll see that it says 571 or whatever selected, so you can actually visualize. But again, the problem, like where it counts up to 1250, and there is definite discrepancies. So like that's the other issue of like attempting to do it, is that you're then, when you have 50 that didn't copy, which 50 didn't copy, and then I've had times where the new place, there's like more than what I'm copying from. So it's like, what is going on? So it's like redundancy is the thing that you want to do. Now, what I have a photo manager friend, and she's actually big on, because I was complaining to her, I was like, well, using the cord and downloading from my phone, like what the heck? And she says she just makes clients pay for the cloud storage. And then what you can do, like all this stuff that we sort of talked about is moot, because there's 2 different ways with that. Of course, you can easily expand. Like, sure, now you're only doing 5 terabytes. Why not do 100 or 5 gigs? Why not do 100 gigs? Why not? It's just $3 extra every month. So one of the nice things about that is that once you set it up, even on, let's wait 20 seconds. Once you set it up, even on the PC, is that like in your Windows, I have my folders, you can see it, it's all on the left here. It's got my Apple phone, but then it's got iCloud Drive and iCloud Photos. So then what you can do is you can click on the Drive. Downloads doesn't matter. But you can click on your photos, and then so anything that's like on the free cloud storage or what you're paying for, you can then see here. And so instead of having to worry about plugging in the phone, you just see that all this stuff populates there. So then you just select all, copy, and move it over. Now, we're not doing that right now because we are... Okay, so 1,300 items. I do Control A to select everything, Control C, and then I jump over. I do what's Alt Tab, and it gets me over to the 2023-08_A, Control V. Now it says 12 minutes remaining, and so you basically just, it shows in the bottom left. Again, I'm not gonna, it's got 35, 36. So like you can watch it, you know where you're going to. So it's like one thing. So again, this is like it. So it's redundancy. What I'm doing, I do end up going to the external hard drive. The reason I'm saying is because then you need to be plugged in, right? And so like if you're using a laptop on your, like you kind of need to do this at a desk because you have this, then you're plugged in with your phone, but you can't move it. You can't like look at it, otherwise it's gonna lose the connection and then you can't transfer. Same thing with the external hard drive, it needs a power source. But there's some like the one, you just need USB, it doesn't even have power. So like when it plugs in to a USB port, then it's powered. So then like you can just start dragging and dropping everything directly onto it, and that's perfect. The one thing, if you're on Apple computers, you're gonna need a FireWire port to access USB. You can get that USB-C, I believe you can actually plug in, but this is where you're like looking at, I don't even wanna, you have adapters, and then these adapters allow you to plug in like, for a while I had 4, now it's 8 and 2 powers. So it's like you get your adapters for what you're gonna need to do, and that way you can plug in like multiple external hard drives, multiple phones, or whatever you need. So yeah, so it's a backup, right? So you're taking everything from your phone, then once you know it's removed from the phone to the computer, you can safely delete from the phone to free up storage. It allows you to take more photos. The other thing, again, the main benefit is that eventually this thing's gonna die. I'm not picking it up, but my phone is gonna die and you're not gonna be able to like really plug it in anymore. So as long as you continue to stay on this, you'll at least have your stuff backed up. Now, in saying that, of course, that's why I'm sort of talking about the like that's where one of the extra benefits of the cloud storage is, because if this one day stops working, but everything's been syncing to this, you know, to your 5 terabyte cloud, like you don't have to worry about it, because then you go into the storage or into your Explorer and you download everything from your iPhotos onto your desktop, and you still have all those photos. So like, and then of course my personal thing is because then you get it and then you can actually do something with the photos. You can send it to someone like me, you can send it to a photo organizer, and they can actually make a book, make a slideshow, make a family documentary / interview where you are like, you know, just imagine like for your year and you have like your 4 vacations and you sit down and you talk about it. It's like, you know, maybe it's only going to be important to like the family, but it could be a cool little, you know, like if you do go on cool enough trips, this is where it's like 3 different things where it's like you go on the cool trip, so you want an interview on the thing. But the way it also works is that you need to take a bajillion photos and videos of the trip, and then you can use those photos to actually kind of make a fun little short movie. Because we're all like PRing our best lives forward, so that's like why we do these vacations. It's like, oh yeah, I'm always on these trips. It's like, but it's like a nice memory, and I know personally, you know, for a while it was like the joke. I don't post my food a lot of the times, but it's like even seeing the plate and what you ate sort of like triggers the whole memory. Because like once you see that, you're like, oh yeah, we went to that nice, like, remember that fish we had at the bottom of the steps at that Italian at like near the Amalfi Coast, like, and then we got the wine, and then you can think of the stories, because you know the pictures, they say they're worth 1,000 words, and that's like all of your memories, and it just like brings everything rushing back, like when you start talking about those things. So it's like, I think it's why you want to get it off, because you may forget about it, and then so that's why it's almost important to like speak about the memory as it happens or shortly after it happens, because then it's like months down the road we sort of have just what's left. And I am personally, I think, as a musician, and I think to like see the growth that you do, and to also see what you've done, like you really need to like document it, in the sense that like months later you can look back and you can, you know, you're like, man, I didn't do anything this year, and then you look back and you're like, oh yeah, we actually went on some really cool trips. Oh yeah, remember the ice cream we got at that place? Oh yeah, and the pizza and blah blah blah. So it's like you can do that, and there's nice little things to just, it helps trigger what you're doing. And so that's the point of photos. Like photos are, they're personal to all of us, and the fact that we have these amazing cameras now on us, that we can just remember, oh yeah, last night I was at a club, or I was at a bar playing a show. It's like, and you have photos. Before I didn't do anything, now I'm starting to take like 20-second clips with my phone of these bands, because it's like you see so many bands and you sort of forget. You know, like you see them once, and so it's like you sort of forget them sometimes, but if you know, it's important to just like get these 20 to 30 seconds, and it's like, oh yeah, they're Loud and Pummeling, another Loud and Pummeling band. But there's some Loud and Pummeling fast bands, there's Loud and Pummeling slow bands, there's Loud Pummeling bands where they have two pieces, and they have these boards, so they're making their own like drones and reverb stuff. So we got 1304 items, 1304 items. So in theory, you can think, okay, maybe they're all done. Maybe I got them all. So again, these are your memories. You deserve to keep them. There are definitely benefits to cloud storage. I do see it. I do think that in addition to cloud storage, though, you can, you know, instead of paying for the biggest one, if you work on file management where you're taking stuff regularly off your phone, then it's just the most updated stuff goes to the cloud. So then if, you know, God forbid, you have a week or two where, or like especially when you're on vacations, you know, once you get home is when you're gonna upload your phones or your storage stuff. Like you're not gonna do it obviously on the trip. So like that's why it's even more important to like do it interesting. So that's why, like, even before you go on a trip, you save everything, and then all the stuff you're taking on the trip uploads to the cloud. So then if anything happens, if someone steals your phone or whatever, like, one, you have everything up until the trip, and then you have the iCloud storage where all the newer stuff is saving automatically. So I think, you know, there's ways to just hang on to your stuff. Otherwise, we have all these old phones. It's like the only reason you keep them in a closet is because you eventually want those photos off of it. So if you can get the photos off, you put it on a laptop, then you put it onto an external drive. And then again, this is where it's like, even that's not fail safe. Like, you're supposed to turn those on once a year or a couple times a year, because supposedly if they don't turn on, then they like stop working. So there's like this whole, it's truly like a whole mess of like it's a whole process, which is why photo organizers and what you want to do with your memories and how you want to keep them is like this whole thing. So good luck. I can help. I have my photo manager people that they can organize, because obviously once they're all in a mess, it's like hard to know what's going on. But if you, good luck, happy storage. And then the next thing will be like Western Digital versus Seagate. Those are kind of like the two main. I do have both.